Hello YouTube family, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Sharida and welcome. And today we are diving into 5 fragrances every woman needs in their collection. Now within these 5, I'm going to give you some more affordable alternatives for a couple of these, but I think that if you are newer to fragrance or if you're looking to really curate your collection and not have a massive collection but you're covering all of your bases, then these 5 are ones to consider to make that happen. I feel like no matter where you're going, you know, whatever the circumstance, you're going to be covered if you have these 5 in your collection. So we've got a little bit of rose, we got some white floral, we got something musky, we got something fresh, we even have a gourmand. You are going to be good to go with these 5, all right? So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into today's video. Okay, where do I start on this list? Let's go ahead and start with the rose of the bunch. Every woman needs a good rose, okay? And if you have in your mind that all roses smell alike, all roses, you know, smell like your grandma's rose, it's really not the case. I would say if you find that to be a common thing, if you're at the Macy's counter and this is what you're experiencing, I would say maybe look at some niche options, all right? And I'm going to say if you are looking for a fantastic rose fragrance, just consider looking at the Quentin creations. Something about the way this man does a rose, they're highly unique, so you're not going to smell like everybody. And I just feel like he converts rose haters every day. So for the purposes of this video, we're going to go with one of my absolute favorites. This is Guidance 46. I do understand that this is a very polarizing scent profile. It's either love it or hate it, but this is just spectacular. I mean, compliments guaranteed. I have even had people tell me I'm not really a fan of the fragrance, like I'm not obsessed with it, but I get so many compliments, I'm just going to continue to wear it. Now, me personally, I wear fragrances for myself, more for the compliments, but this scent, the original one, this one, it's love at first sniff, period. Okay, I don't get anything strange from the opening on my skin, you know, thankfully, but a lot of people struggle with the opening of Guidance and they like to dry down. I love it from top to bottom, okay, back to front. I'm obsessed, but the 46 to me is even better than the original. I know. I will rave about the original one. It was the best thing since sliced bread, but this is even smoother. I feel like even though this is still going to give you that 12-16 hour wear, it's not as loud. Like this is still a beast. But I think the woody quality of this one and that Akigala wood is dialed back just a hair. I think that it wears smoother, and I find that a lot of people who they just could not get down with that original Guidance absolutely love the 46. So if you are newer to niche, right, this is probably not gonna be the starting place. I would say get your nose on something like IMPADIA, because honestly, this is going to be the Eau Fresh version of the Guidances, the Delinas. Like people are getting so many different Quentin roses. Even though this is not a Quentin fragrance, a lot of people seem to be loving this one who they couldn't really get with Delina. They couldn't really get with Guidance, but I'm telling you, this is giving you both of those fragrances and you're going to just make it much lighter wearing, much easier to wear, juicier because you've got like this mandarin citrus thing going on. It's a much fresher take on the fragrances. On my skin, this is giving me Guidance wafts all day. People were saying I'm getting Delina. I'm like, Delina where? But when I wore it on my clothes, like I sprayed it on my robe, Delina facets. So she's a little chameleon, and I feel like this is definitely going to be a little bit more affordable than something like this, but this is going to be for someone who just prefers it much softer. You're not going to get that beast mode where you're not going to get the same longevity, but she is related to, she is a cousin of, and she's a lot easier to wear. So maybe start here and upgrade to this. But if you want a fabulous dupe for Guidance 46, BAYAN Al ASRAR is going to be the ticket. And when I first got this, I would say, oh, this is like your Delina La Rose to your Delina. Honey, this thing has gotten so much bolder and stronger now that it's at least a year old in my collection. This is an amazing dupe for your Guidance girls, okay? And maybe a little bit closer to the 46, just because it's not going to be quite as brash as the original Guidance, but start here if you really want something close to this fragrance and at a tremendous, like a fraction of, like, we're talking about decimal points, because this is like 520 maybe plus at this point. I don't know, like everyone goes up in their prices, and you can get this under $50. So those are 3 options that I'm just giving you, but you can start with a Delina, you can start with Fetish La Rose, which is a super sweet jammy cherry rose concoction from Quentin, or you can start with a Guidance. But either way, honey, you need a Quentin Rose in your collection. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, just dive on in and thank me later. So the next one up on the list is a really beautiful feminine Fresh. She's clean, she's soapy, she's aldehydic, and honey, she is giving very chic about like my coins. Like, this woman smells rich. She smells rich. She's not trying. She's not about the loud labels, you know, but the bank account is very serious, okay? She is Blanche. Blanche by Byredo is not a new fragrance, okay? But when I tell you, I smelled this finally, like Neiman's or Saks, I was just smelling it in passing. Honey, I had to have this in my collection. And this is timeless because this has been around for a while. And when I tell you, I don't ever see this fragrance going out of style. Like, this is going to be a beautiful clean scent that I just feel like any woman can use in their collection. You want to smell very sophisticated, clean, put together, dress it up, dress it down. White t-shirt, you can put this on. You're going to work, you have a boardroom situation, you can put this on. Date night, if you're going to be out all day with your guy and hot weather like Georgia, perfect scent, because there is something just so pretty and attractive about the way this smells, but it may be a little bit too hot for you to wear something sticky sweet or something ambery or something spicy. Perfect for those occasions, all right? But above all, I think you're always just going to be very put together. That's how you're going to smell. Very chic, classy, elegant. So this opens with rose, aldehydes, and pink pepper. You have middle notes of peony, violet, and African orange flower, and you have base notes of musk, woodsy notes, and sandalwood. I think if you go with a fragrance like this, you're going to be really shocked at how elegant you feel when you smell just clean and fresh. And this has a level of complexity to it where you just smell elevated. And so Blanche by Byredo is absolutely one that every woman needs in their collection. Now, I feel like every woman needs a spectacular vanilla in their collection, but I didn't want to go in the direction of like just your very sweet gourmand vanilla fragrances. I feel like there are just so many women that prefer something a little bit more elevated. And so for that reason, I went with Bachami by BVLGARI, because this is a really classic smelling sweet white floral, which dominates the designer market. But I just think this one wears with such class and sophistication. You don't have to worry about smelling overly sweet and cheap. And like a lot of the designer white florals really can give that vibe. I think that this is worth the couple extra coins that you would pay. The presentation is absolutely stunning, and she smells just, oh my God, so sophisticated. And it's like you're getting your really sweet vanilla fix and you're getting your white floral just all in one. So white florals, we know it, she's very classy, she's very timeless, and the sweet vanilla, we're scratching an inch too. So I just feel like this is the best of both worlds. So this one is centered around the gardenia. I do think you really have to love a beautiful gardenia, but honey, the crowd goes wild over this fragrance. I think that if you struggle with white florals, maybe starting with something like this, it could kind of bring you around, because gardenia, it's really beautiful. It offers something just a little different from jasmine, which is the most common. We see it everywhere, especially in the designer market, but I just think this is really well done, and you're going to get a gorgeous ambery quality, which just really brings it home. It helps to balance out the florals, adds to the richness, you know, of the vanilla, and I just think this is such a stunner. And even though it is designer, it is pricey, but I just feel like it is reflected in that price point. Now, if it's just too much, it's just too pricey, but you smell this, you love it. Oh, Sharita, I really want this fragrance in my collection. But girl, I don't have, what, 250? I forget how much it was a pretty penny for a designer. I have an alternative for you that is going to absolutely dupe this scent, but it actually wears a little stronger. So LATTAFA has created GHARAHM, and it is without a doubt duping this fragrance, okay? Just same. Only difference that I get is this one is going to wear maybe a little louder. Now, if the thought of that bothers you, like, okay, I've sampled Bachami, honey, she's loud enough, then I would say maybe stay with this one. But this one just wears with a little bit more heft. It wears maybe a little bit more powdery, but the gardenia of it all, the vanilla, the ambery quality, it is through and through a Bachami. They list more notes, like it's got all this other stuff going on, but you're going to get Bachami in a bottle for a fraction of the price, okay? So start here. If you feel like you're just obsessed and you want to upgrade, then you know this is going to be worth the price point for you because you have gone through this bottle. And at that point, I think you can justify maybe a pricier buy if that's what you want. But they're both very beautiful, and I think that you can't go wrong with either one, quite frankly. So next up, I did want to include just a fabulous gourmand, but she's very elevated, okay? She's very long lasting, and I feel like the projection on it is moderate, at least on me, but honey, she's very unique. She's so gorgeous, and this is Shaman Diamant. I have been ranting and raving and ranting. And for good reason. Like, I just can't get over how beautiful this smells. Jordan almonds in a bottle. I will always describe it that way. Sweet, it's vanillic, but the star is going to be that almond and almond blossom. And it just, something about it, like they are not mentioning all the notes in this fragrance because something about this wear is very unique. It's a touch powdery, almost maybe like there's some tonka underlying, and there is... It's an addictive, sweet fragrance that doesn't wear overly sweet, and it doesn't wear like that ambery, rich, syrupy, like it doesn't wear like that at all. So I find that if you struggle with the sweetness of a lot of gourmands on the market, but you kind of want something in that vibe, you enjoy an almond note, but you want to smell really elevated, then here you are, right here. So this fragrance features notes of almond blossom, vanilla, and woody notes. Again, they don't give us a whole lot in the note breakdown, but there is something beautifully complex, but also an air of simplicity about this fragrance all in one. I hope that makes sense, but it is just a complete obsession for me. And like, once this is gone, because this was actually gifted to me by the brand, I will 100% be repurchasing because I can't stop wearing it. I can't stop smelling it. My daughter compliments me every single time I decide to give myself a couple sprays of this. She's going to compliment me, and that is not something she does often. All right, again, so this is Shaman Diamant, and this is from the house of Unui Nomad. So the last one on this list is going to check the box of citrusy, a little fresh, a little musky, feminine, slightly floral. I just feel like that is a scent profile that everyone needs in their collection if you're a feminine fragrance wearer. So I'm actually going to hold up both bottles because whichever one floats your boat, you will be covered. So Valaya and Valaya Exclusive, I love them both. Right now, I'm kind of rocking with the Valaya Exclusive more just because I just love the versatility of this one. It's not as loud as the original Valaya. So the original Valaya is going to give you, it's perfectly sweet. It's white floral, very, very, very musky. That's going to be the difference. Whereas I feel like this is going to be the powderier take on it. This is going to be much more of like that molecular, musky, ambroxan cloud. You know, it's going to fill a room. Valaya is very strong. But what I do love about this creation is you have this gorgeous white peach. It's very citrusy. You know, you get this clean, musky vibe. So this is going to be for the girl who loves it fresh, a little citrusy and fruity, clean, okay? The woodiness of it, the Akigala wood can be a bit much for some. And it is still in this fragrance, but it is dialed way back, okay? It is dialed way back, which is going to make it easier to wear. And I just love the creamy, powdery aspect of it. They give you these note breakdowns like they are going to smell very differently, and I beg to differ. They smell very similar. Some would even say it's not even enough like of its own fragrance to own both. I don't think you need both. I just think you need to see which wearing experience you prefer more. If you want something just a little quieter, but still very well performing, like this is still going to last a long time. It's not gonna fill a room, but everyone in that scent bubble is going to smell you. I would say even, you know, past arm's length, they're going to smell you. So this is no slouch in performance, but this is a beast. So which one do you want? Do you actually enjoy enjoy that really loud woody quality, that loud musky and brofic, you know, thing going on in the original Valaya, you want everyone to smell you, go with this one. But either way, girl, you need a Valaya in your life, okay? So I think that this list that I put together today will really help you to curate your collection. You need something clean. You need something a little musky. You need a good rose. You need a sweet white floral. And we have pretty much covered that today. So you guys, please drop me a line below. Let me know 5 fragrances that if you could only have 5 and you really want to make sure your bases are covered, then what would that be? Okay. Now keep in mind, your collection should be personal to you. Honey, if you only want 5 fragrances and they are all vanillas, then do that. If you want 5 sickeningly sweet gourmands, then do that. If you want 5 ouds, rich Dubai princess, do that. It should reflect your personal taste. But I wanted to put together this list because, honey, getting into fragrance can be just really daunting for a lot of people. So daunting. I know for me, I was just, that was my vibe. I didn't know where to start, where to go, what to experience. But I think that if you start to get just a little bit of everything in your collection as far as these scent profile types, then you are covered. You're good to go. You won't even need to have 100 fragrances because you have checked certain boxes off, which kind of take you into any occasion, any event, any vibe, any mood. So I hope you've enjoyed this list today, you guys. I know it was a little long for just a few fragrances, but I wanted to be a little thorough because, again, people are discovering fragrance every day. Just 4 years ago, I only had 1. And now look at me, all right? So that's it for me, you guys. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. It has been real. I love you all, YouTube, and I will catch you guys on the next one.